To Gentle Stretch Yoga from Guatemala. I'm sitting in the beautiful courtyard, one of many in the Casa Santo Domingo Hotel, which is built on the site of a 17th century monastery, and the monastery and other buildings here have been restored. This is like living in a museum, and it's a great place to do yoga. And speaking of that, when I travel, I just bring a block with me and maybe a small mat for my knees and a hotel towel, and I'm ready to go. So let's get started. Everybody sit in a comfortable seat. I'm going to sit on my block and use my mat for my ankles. And with your hands on your knees, palms face up or face down. We'll do a few breathing exercises to start. Just inhale and exhale. Again, inhale and exhale. Now bring your shoulders up on the inhale. Exhale back and down. Once more, inhale. Exhale back and down. Again. And now we'll do our meditation and body scan. So roll forward onto your knees and then come into a tabletop position along the length of your mat. And then lie down on the mat, one vertebra at a time onto your back. Now with your hands at your sides, face up or face down. Oops. Begin to relax in your body, starting with your toes. And let them relax. And breathe naturally. Letting your belly rise and fall with each breath. And then relax your ankles. Letting your feet splay outward. Relax your shins and backs of your lower legs. And breathe. And relax your kneecaps. And feel the air beneath your knees. Relax your thighs. And feel the earth supporting your sacrum, the lower flat part of your back. Then relax the fingertips. Just feel the little pillow of air resting on your palms or below your palms. Relax your hips, letting them open. And breathe. And relax the lower back. Relax the forearms and wrists. Feel your elbows supported by the earth, by the mat. Feel your belly rise and fall with each breath. And then relax the mid-back and the upper arms. Relax the shoulders and the upper back. And relax the neck. Feel the back of your head resting on the mat, on the earth. The whole body is supported by the earth. Relax your cheeks, letting your tongue fall from the roof of your mouth. Letting your jaw relax. And let your forehead and eyelids relax. And breathe. Just feel your belly rise and fall with each breath. Your whole body is relaxed. You're going to start to bring energy back into your body by deepening your breath, letting your belly rise a little higher and fall a little lower. Wiggle your toes, and then your fingers. And roll your head side to side. And then when ready, draw your soles of your feet in toward your hips, knees in the air, rolling onto a fetal position. And with the top palm pressing onto the mat, raise yourself back up to that comfortable seat. And before we start our asanas or stretching, let me tell you a little bit about the place I am in Antigua. It was the capital city of Guatemala for 200 years, when Guatemala really was the kingdom of Guatemala, consisting of the entire Central America and the lower state of South America. But in the 1800s, a volcanic eruption and earthquakes destroyed the city, and the city was moved to its present-day Guatemala City. But Antigua has remained the cultural capital of Guatemala and is a beautiful place to visit. With your hands on your thighs or knees, inhale, raising your shoulders up, exhale back and down. Again. And once more. And dropping chin to chest. Begin a slow circle with your neck. With each inhale, raise it up and back. Exhale, down and forward. Timing breath and movement. And then come to center. And roll your head in the opposite direction by dropping chin to chest. Begin the roll, inhaling as you raise your head to the rear. Exhale as you drop your head forward onto your chest. And come to center. This time, drop your head to your right, placing your right hand on top of your head and pulling down gently, pulling your right ear towards your right shoulder, leaving your left shoulder relaxed and down. And continue to breathe. And then inhale, come to center. Repeat on the opposite side. Keeping the opposite shoulder relaxed. And on the inhale, come back to center. Now place one hand, left hand on right knee, right palm behind you on the floor, keeping your spine erect. Twist towards that right side. And breathe with each inhale. Extend your spine up, and with each exhale, twist a little more. And we'll do 5 breaths here. And on the exhale, come back to center. Repeat on the opposite side for 5 breaths. And then come back to center. And now extend the legs in front of you. And then bring one knee, right knee back to chest. Grasp with the left arm and repeat the twist. And come back to center, extend that right leg, draw the left knee into the chest, grasp with the right arm, and twist to the left. And release, come back to center. Small airplane flying overhead. And then bring your feet, soles together into a cobbler's pose in front of you, keeping your elbows on your shins or thighs. And on an inhale, keep your spine erect. Exhale, tilt forward. Inhale again. And then forward fold. Pressing your knees outward with your elbows. With each breath, you can lower your head a little lower. And breathe 5 breaths. And come back to center. Now taking your thumbs onto your arches, give them a little massage. And pull the toes back to extend the toes. And then stretch your legs out in front of you once more. This time, point and flex your toes. Exhale, point. Inhale, draw your toes in. Again. Really feeling the stretch at the bottoms of your leg. And this time with your legs extended, but your knees are slightly bent. We'll do a forward fold, again working on the lower back, but keeping the knees bent to take the hamstrings out of it. So an inhale, exhale, tilt forward, inhale once again, and then forward fold, grasping your thighs, shins, or toes. And you can lower the knees as you like to bring the hamstrings in. Either knees bent or knees dropped. But make it comfortable so you're working your lower back. And release, come back up. This time, extend the legs in a wide V. And placing right hand inside right leg, twisting towards the opposite side, raising the left arm overhead. Again, stretching the lower back, keeping the knee bent. And 5 breaths. Inhale, come back to center. Repeat on the opposite side. Left arm inside left leg, right arm overhead. Lean towards the left leg. And with each exhale, you can extend the stretch a little bit. And then inhale, come back to center and draw your legs back in towards center line. And bring your soles of your feet together, crossing your ankles this time. Now rolling forward into a tabletop position. And moving into a cat and cow. Starting with your hands underneath your shoulders, fingers are splayed wide. Pressure on your fingertips. Knees are centered below your hips. Back is in a straight alignment. And then on the inhale, raise your back into a cat. And exhale, dropping your belly, raising your head into a cow. And repeat. And exhale down. Inhale up. And keep going, timing movement with breath. Do a few more, pushing your shoulders away from your ears. And then relax and come to a neutral spine position. Begin a slow circle, 2 inches, clockwise direction, to warm up the torso. And make the circle as big as you like, dropping all the way into a child's pose if you like. Exhaling to the rear, inhaling as you come forward. Then make the circle smaller and smaller. And then come to that neutral position. And repeat the circles in the opposite direction. And now make the circle smaller until you're back to 2 inches. And then neutral, coming to a tabletop position. And dropping back into child's pose on the exhale. Inhale, coming back up. Repeat again. A few more. Now this one, stay down into the child's pose and extend your arms in front of you along the mat. And dropping your head to the mat with your arms extended along the mat. Breathe. Now walk your fingers to the right, stretching the left side body, and breathe 5 breaths. And then come back to center, and walking to the opposite side, 5 breaths. Inhale, come back to center, raising yourself back up to tabletop position. And then walk left knee in 2 inches towards the center line so you can extend your right leg backwards. Toes are curled. And push back to stretch the calf muscle. And then raise that leg, cross it over the opposite one, and look over your shoulder towards those toes. And 5 breaths in this position. Inhale, bring that raised leg back up, and then draw it in to join the other. Extend the opposite leg, toes are curled. Pushing back to stretch the calf. And then raise that leg, cross it over, drop the toes to the ground, look over the shoulder towards those toes. 5 breaths, stretching the left side body. And then raise that leg, bring it back to the center line and draw the other knee in to join both. Dropping back into child's pose and holding. And the inhale, come back up. Curl your toes under, pushing up into a down dog. And walking the dog to stretch your calf. Or keeping them straight. And dropping your knees, coming back to tabletop. Uncurling your toes. And dropping back into a hero pose, sitting on your ankles. Using a block if you like to raise up your bottom to make it more comfortable. But breathe here. And then come forward and curl your toes underneath. Come back to hero pose with your toes curled. And then come back forward. Uncurl your toes, tap the tops of your feet on the mat. And then come up with your hips above your knees into a camel pose, arching your back as you raise your chest. You can push your hands into your hips or drop them towards your ankles. Head is raised up towards the sky. And then come back to your tabletop position. For balance work, draw one knee straight and extend the toes curled under. Put your opposite arm raised in front of you. And then raise that back leg if you like. Five breaths. And then draw both hand and knee back into tabletop. Extend the opposite leg, toes are curled. Extending the opposite arm forward and raising the back leg for balance. And bring the hand and knee back into tabletop. Drop into child's pose. Back up. 2 more. On a tabletop, walk your left hand 2 inches in towards the center line. Raise your right arm overhead. And then thread the needle, dropping your shoulder to the mat. And then on the inhale, come back up to tabletop and raising the opposite arm and threading the needle for 5 breaths. And then on the inhale, come back up to your tabletop position. And cat and cow for 5 breaths. Inhale, cat. Exhale, cow. And then curling your toes once more underneath for 1 more down dog. And 5 breaths here. Rotating your shoulders outward. Weight is equally distributed on your feet and hands. And dropping your knees to the mat, coming back to the tabletop. And then cross your ankles behind you, coming back to seated position. Extend your legs in front. And roll back onto your back, 1 vertebrae at a time. And then draw the soles of your feet in towards your hips. Fingertips close to the heels. Knees are in the air. And push up into a bridge. Exhale, come back down. Inhale, raising. And this time, hold the bridge up. Pushing a little higher and breathing. And then dropping the hips. Crossing left ankle, right ankle onto left knee. Pushing up again and holding for 5 breaths. And coming down, uncrossing the knees. Putting the left ankle onto the right knee, pushing up for 5 breaths. And then lowering the knees, uncrossing the ankles, walk the soles of the feet to the edges of the mat, and windshield wiper to the right and to the left. Arms in a T position. And looking to the opposite side of your knees. And then release, come back to center line. Walking the feet in towards the center of the mat and drawing your knees into your chest. Holding with your hands and rocking side to side. And drop your soles of your feet to the mat. Cross one ankle over across the other. Right ankle over left knee and drop the knees to the right. And look over your left shoulder to your left palm in a T position. And 5 breaths. And then on inhale, draw your knees up to the sky, uncross and recross, putting left knee over right knee, dropping knees to the left, looking over your right shoulder. And then inhale, draw your knees back up, uncross. Putting your right ankle again on your left knee. And drop this time to the right again, looking over your left shoulder. And then on inhale, come back to center, uncross your knees, put your left ankle on your right knee, drop your left knee to the ground, look over your right shoulder. And inhale, bring your knees up back to center line and cross. And now put your right ankle again on your left knee. Draw through to your thigh to bring your thigh to your chest. And stretch that opposite hip. And drop that hip to the ground and cross your knees. Walk your soles of your feet to the edges of the mat. Arms in a T position, windshield wiper. And then come to center. And draw your left ankle onto your right knee. Pull your thigh to your chest for 10 breaths. And then release, uncross your legs. Draw your knees into your chest. And rock side to side. And then drop your knees to the ground. And if you have a block or bolster, we'll do an inversion by raising our hips and putting that block beneath our sacrum, the flat part of our back. And draw your knees into your chest, adjusting the block so it sits on the flat part of the bottom of your spine. And then keep your knees in this position or raise your soles of your feet to the sky. And this supported inversion. Stay here for a minute. And with your knees bent or your legs straight, you can drop your legs to a wide V and inhale back to center. And repeat 5 times. And this time, hold your legs in wide V or knees in a wide V. You can support your legs with your hands on your thighs. And breathe. And then inhale your legs back to center. Draw your knees into your chest. And then extend your legs along the mat, adjusting the block into a supported fish. And breathe here. Letting your hips fall open. Walking your shoulder blades in towards each other to open your chest. Now draw your knees into your chest, soles of the feet on the ground. And raising your hips to remove the block. And draw your knees into your chest to rock side to side. Now extend the left leg along the mat. Just draw the right knee into your chest. Relax the left leg and breathe. And then release the right leg, extend it along the mat, draw the left knee into your chest. Relax the right leg and breathe. And getting ready for our Savasana, draw both knees into your chest, rock side to side. And then extend the heels towards the ceiling into a happy baby, grasping your thighs, shins or toes. And rock side to side. Extend the legs. And bring the knees back into the chest. Hug them one more time. Extend the legs along the mat. Hands at your side. Palms face up or face down. Your breathing is natural. Entering the relaxed state of Savasana or corpse pose. And relax here for a few minutes, and then I will bring us out with a little deep breathing.